Stop being a bitch.
All right, Lemonheads, what's up? It's your boy Fungus, Lemon City Live, Evening Juice, Season 8, Episode 33. I'm joined today by our newest Lemonhead, Jake Gibson over here, coming fresh off his first assignment. How's it going, Jake?
Oh, I'm happy to be here, man. This past weekend over at Homestead Miami Speedway was an absolute blast, and I'm super excited to talk about it here with you tonight.
That's what's up, man. We're going to get into that in a little bit. If you're watching, thank you for watching, everybody. You're watching on our Facebook, on our Twitter, or, of course, on the 5 Reasons YouTube network. Shout out to 5 Reasons Sports. So before we get into actual talking sports, you know, sometimes we like to get a little silly over here. Mm-hmm. I have a funny current event that I want to get your take on, Jake.
Okay.
Uber Eats. Are you an Uber Eats guy? Do you Uber Eats a lot of stuff? Or
I do not Uber Eats. I really don't do the Uber Eats and DoorDash thing. I don't do those.
Oh, honestly. Man.
More of a cook a nice meal at home kind of guy.
That's the way to go, bro. That's the way to go. That at home stuff. But you know, not everybody can have that homegrown stuff. You know what I mean? So Uber Eats now will be delivering weed in Toronto. I guess they are starting. They're testing out that market. They're gonna start delivering weed because weed's legal in Canada, recreationally. So they're starting to deliver weed in Toronto. What is your take on that?
Well, I'm assuming that the demand for something like this is astronomically high. So the demand is there. We'll see how it goes with the supply, especially in a place like Canada, where they're going to get it and how this is going to happen, who can sign up to do it and all that. But
oh man,
it's definitely a crazy idea. It's a crazy idea that can open up to brand new jobs and brand new companies that specialize in that, not just in Toronto, but in the United States and maybe even all over the world.
I'm interested in seeing, and I don't know, you said you don't use Uber Eats, but when you open it up, you can see different types of foods, right? You see tacos, pizza, whatever. I want to see what they're gonna have, like just a big weed plant, like the Chronic album, Dr. Dre. That's. I'm interested in seeing that. That Canadian Kush has got to be pretty popular over there if they're starting to deliver weed. So
I can only imagine. I haven't met many Canadians, but you never know until you go up there and you see it.
True that. That's very true. But we'll see. I wonder what's going to be the first market to be introduced to that what's it called?
Colorado.
Well, the first American market. I mean,
could you imagine a small business in a state like Colorado or California doing that? I feel like it's one of those small businesses that turn into corporate conglomerates like Nest and those small businesses like a Shark Tank. You walk up to the guys in Shark Tank. All right, I know we all love weed, but how about not having to get off your chair to get the weed? All right. $1 million investment.
Oh, for sure. I would be very interested to see that episode of Shark Tank. You know what I mean? But that's I don't know. What would sports turn into if you didn't have to leave your couch to get your weed and watch your sports? I think sports betting would take. The industry would probably grow, but wins would probably drop by a lot.
Yeah, hella drop.
All right, man. So as we do every week, we got our juices and we got our phonies. All right. So let's start off with some phonies. I want to end on a high note. So who's your phony of the week, Jake?
All right. My phony of the week is going to be the side judge referee who called the interception by Noah Igbenogany in the Sunday Night Football game. Dolphins versus Steelers, the final defensive play for the Dolphins. The side judge who ruled that pick incomplete. And then he had to have a discussion with the other referees and be like, oh, I screwed up. It's actually a pick. And this game is over. When you look at it on replay, it's as clear as day. It was an interception. He was looking right at it.
Yeah, he was right there.
Yeah, I myself and my dad were shocked that it even had to go down to a discussion between like 3 or 4 referees that, his feet were in, he was maintaining possession. It's an interception.
Yeah, if you're watching at home, you get the benefit of, zoomed in camera, instant replay, all of that. So we weren't worried at home. But yeah, if you're there, if you're the players or somebody in the stands, you had to be a little worried.
It's like a mini heartbreak. You thought the game was won. The ref says no, incomplete. You're bummed as hell, and then the announcement comes. Oh, the ruling on the field is the pass was intercepted. Instant joy, instant gratification that you survived watching the second half of that game. And
for sure. And I bet you the amount of people that can pronounce Igbenogany's name now has increased by at least 30%.
I will be honest. I will admit my phoniness for the longest time. I thought Igbenogany was a bust.
You did.
I'm not even kidding. I was not a big fan of Noah. Up until that point where he decided to prove me and probably a bunch of other people wrong. So shout out to him.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it takes
for a week that referee.
It takes some guys a little longer to figure out the game. He was last year was his rookie season, if I'm not mistaken. And it now in his sophomore season is when he's able to finally learn the game and step up, make plays. But yeah, a lot of people were not sold on him based off of his play as a rookie, which nowadays, you know what I mean? A lot of these guys, they hit the ground running and they are making plays from their rookie season, but that's not the norm. That's not the norm. So
yeah,
I'm
glad
that
like us and the Bengals, they were blessed with amazing rookie seasons by Waddle and Jamar Chase,
for sure.
Who in their first season broke records. And not every rookie is going to have that luxury, especially in a position like corner, where you're consistently going to have to match up with some of the star players in the NFL.
Yeah. All right, man. So my phony, if you're a fan of a team, you have to be able to be critical of your team. You can't just always be rah-rah. You know what I mean? When your team is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you should be able to step up and tell them so. So my phony goes out to my FC Barcelona. It breaks my heart. They were eliminated from the Champions League, and now they got to go play in the Europa League. Hopefully they can at least, take away a championship in the Europa League, but that didn't work out so well for them last season. But this season they have a whole new slew of guys. I guess it's still early in the season for soccer, so it's taking them a bit longer to figure out how to play with each other, and they haven't fully meshed yet, which was fully shown in their exit from Champions League today. So Barcelona.
And that's all before the FIFA World Cup coming up real soon. I think we're not even that far away at this point in Qatar, a winter World Cup.
We're like
doesn't feel real,
We're less than a month away, but
less than a month.
Yeah, but that's international. Countries playing against each other. FC Barcelona is club level. It's a different sort of dynamic. But yeah, man. So hopefully Barcelona can figure it out and they can land on my juice list later on in the season. So we'll see. So for you, who's got your juice this week?
My juice is taking it back to my alma mater of FIU. Talking about quarterback Grayson James.
Yeah.
306 passing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, 1 pick. He had an absolutely monster game especially for someone like Grayson James, who has taken a lot of time to get himself settled in as QB1 of FIU. Already kind of a rough season, but they had a blowout win against the Charlotte 49ers on the road to sort of balance out their season again. And now they have another nationally televised game this upcoming Friday against the University of North Texas. And
there you go.
FIU's
always a tough
great
game.
Story,
Yeah, man. North Texas is always a tough play. I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I'm going to bring on our guy, Xavier. My bad, bro. Edwin usually sends you the link, and I completely forgot since he's not joining us today.
Oh, you don't have to say that on the air. I'm an FIU alum.
There you go.
And I'm surprised that they haven't been better with recruiting in football. I mean, maybe you get the second or third tier here, which is still really good. but maybe you get some people from other places that want to come down here. You know, they won't make FSU, they won't make they can't make it at Florida, but they're still pretty good players. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Well, I've heard a lot of things about the football program as far as that they really don't care too much about it.
And you know that was a ginormous sort of topic of interest in FIU for the past couple of years, especially when Butch Davis was running the football team, and how he went on record as he was going to get fired. Right, this was about a year ago, around the end of the season. He went on record against FIU athletics, sort of calling them out for not giving him and his scouts enough resources, enough money to go on the road and recruit people from like other sides of the state and even across the country. And you know, he went on record on this like a very serious rant that when I was the director of Sports Panther, I was like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? He's like revealing all the secrets that we're not supposed to know about. And
love it.
Again,
There's
the fact that
led to the point where we are now.
Yeah. And FIU football, again, if you're a recruit and you want to look towards FIU and look at their past of FIU is not great the last few years, you know, going 0-5 in the COVID year, 1-11 the year after.
Yeah, but you can't really take that into account. The COVID year, I mean, come on. The COVID would have screwed up any school, and FIU just happened to get hit really hard where they had to bring on a bunch of walk-on players. There was at one point like half of the starting squad were walk-on players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not too much. It was a lot of players that were starting that were walk-ons. Now, a big reason why FIU struggles, they're a lot better this season than they were the past couple of seasons, but they're still struggling a little bit. They're still growing. They have the youngest team in the whole country.
Yeah.
There are 40 players. Yeah. They have 40 players that are playing in other schools that were originally FIU recruits and that they left during the transfer portal. Shout out to my guy Eric Henry for that tidbit right there. So that just goes to show you the struggles that FIU has had, but props to Coach Mike, man. They're doing their thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's why juice for the week is Grayson James had balled out against Charlotte, blowout win on the road. You know, feels good, especially with the other team in Miami. That's kind of the exact opposite right now as far as the fan base getting excited. They're not excited over at Coral Gables.
Jake and Xavier, fun fact, when Grayson James was still a senior in high school, he was a 3-star recruit. He hadn't voiced where he was going to go yet, right? He hadn't announced. And FIU had announced that they had landed a 3-star quarterback, but they didn't say who it was. Nobody knew who it was yet. Yeah. So I did some research and I found that he was the only 3-star recruit that hadn't announced yet. So I take pride in that's really the only news I've ever broken as a member of Lemon City. So
you did some investigative reporting there. You put it together.
I did, and I was surprised that nobody had figured that out because it was pretty easy to find. I just went on the website, saw the quarterbacks, and he was the only 3-star that hadn't declared.
I remember when Butch Davis ran the 2-quarterback system, it would bring in Max Sportenschlager and then Grayson James, take him in, take him out. And I thought that's so weird. That's a weird offensive mindset that I don't think anyone would do. And then you go to the NFL, and the New Orleans Saints did that all the damn time with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, and it's very weird. It's a very weird connection to college to the NFL. But
what do they say when you do that? When you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback.
You have 0. Xavier, we were doing our phonies and our juice, so we already did our phonies. You got a phony for us?
Oh wow. Let me see who's gonna be my phony. You got
mine.
You got
so
me.
Mine was my FC Barcelona because obviously they got eliminated from Champions League. Jake's was the line judge that called Igbenogany out of bounds, or that he said
and he was standing right there.
And he was standing right there.
It had to be the other guy that had a good angle too, but was like he's a good 8 yards away. I mean, it was obvious he was in. My phony. Okay, I'm gonna go with who are we gonna go with? Let's see. The people still questioning Tua, despite his record. I read somewhere.
My quarterback.
Don't quote me that he's like 12-1 or something in the last. I don't know in the last games. I mean,
I think he's 10-2 as a starter.
Yeah, the guy's just winning, and you win a little ugly, but he just came back from how many weeks? He was 3 weeks off without participating, and he came in and he did what he had to do. At the beginning of the game, they looked great, but as the game went on, it wasn't so great. He still makes some mistakes where he's been really lucky this season, where he's thrown interceptions that have been dropped. I mean, he could have, I would say, from the games I've seen, he could have a good 6 or 7 interceptions, maybe 8 that I recall being dropped. So my phony are the people still questioning him as a winner. The guy wins. The guy wins. He's the best thing we've had since Marino, and I'll say because Tannehill took 6-7 seasons. I always saw potential in him, but it just wasn't, fast enough. This guy's his 3rd year. He really never played his first season, so this is really his 2nd year. And then he was hurt, so he hasn't had a lot of game experience, and he's winning. He's doing well. So those are my phonies. The people that are still questioning him, he's a good. Give him some time. Give him some time.
Love to.
We were literally just saying about Igbenogany when he first started with the Dolphins. He didn't hit the ground running. It took him a little bit of time to figure out the NFL game, and now he's.
Well, how old was he? He was 18, 19, or he was 19 or something. Like, he was super young. He was not the average 21-year-old that they bring in. I think he's 20, isn't he? Or he just turned 21. He's young.
I mean, you got to play college. Season, right? You got to play college for at least 2 seasons, I think.
You can leave at 19. You can leave at 19, So I know he was really young, and he's showing. You don't want to lose a number 1 draft pick like that because he had been playing really bad. His thing is the mental. I think it's just grasping. They said he was a receiver, right? And he transitioned because he's physically very gifted. He has all the tools. So hopefully he's he works his way. Late bloomer, but blooms for Miami. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So who's your juice?
My juice. This is gonna go home. Close to home. I was born in Colombia. I came and I'm an American citizen, but I came when I was 6 years old. So I've been in the country for a long time, But my juice today is the Colombian U17 national girls. I'm not going to say women's team, girls team, because they're under 17. They just made the final in the World Cup in India. They're going to play Spain on Sunday morning here. And the great thing about that is the first team, in any category to make a FIFA World Cup final.
That's awesome, man. I saw you tweet that. That's
and the big thing about that, and the props to these women, is that they don't have a true professional league. They don't get the support, financial support. They don't get the support from the actual Colombian association. They don't put their money behind them. They haven't put the resources. They don't have the training grounds. They don't have the training space. They don't have the development information that all these other teams in Colombia have, the men's team, and they haven't done crap. The only thing they've ever won was Copa America 2001, and it was because, there's an asterisk there because Argentina didn't take the first team. Some other teams didn't send their first teams. They sent their under 23s because at that point they were scared because there was stuff going on in Colombia. They thought, things could get bad over there. So they sent the scrubs to get killed if something happened. And Colombia ended up winning, and they won well. But my point is that these guys have all the resources. We got guys playing. I've always said the talent is there in Colombia, and we should have done something already by this point in time. I think it's always a mentality. And these women, these girls have such heart, so much faith, so much confidence. And Linda Caicedo, she's the 17-year-old. She plays at the U17, U20s, and then the first team. She's a star. She's among the top players in the world right now. And she's amazing. And she's just gonna be a mega superstar. So that team is my juice. They got the juice, man. They got me hyped. If they're to win the World Cup against Spain, which are the favorites, that would be amazing, and it shows that there is talent and it can be done, that the men have never done it because they don't have any type of mentality to do something like that, because they have everything else to do it, and they've never done it. And these women came out here with all these obstacles and all these things against them, and they did it, just like all these women that well, I'm not going to get into a big thing here, but they're showing that, they got the guts. They got the guts, and they got the juice.
There you go, man. All right, my juice goes to the Miami Dolphins defense. All right. I remember last week I said if Tua's gonna win this game, he's gotta play conservatively. He can't go out there try to gunsling, and that's exactly what he did. And he almost lost the game by almost throwing 4 interceptions that were all dropped by the Steelers. Thank God. But you know who didn't drop interceptions? The Miami Dolphins, right? And the Steelers' last 2 drives, they were in Dolphins territory, and threatening to score and to tie, either to tie or take the lead. And what did the Dolphins do? They took away the ball and stopped that Steeler momentum.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Miami Dolphins defense for getting it done. And people have been shitting on them recently because they're giving up a lot of big plays and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know, when they really need to step up, they usually do in tight games. You know, if the offense is not going to help out and you're playing another high-powered offense, you know, there's only so much a defense can do. But in games like this, they step up, man.
Everybody injured.
Yeah.
Prior to that Sunday night game, the Dolphins defense only had like two interceptions, I believe, prior to that game. And how many times did they get the pick on Pickett? Like I believe it was 3. Yeah, 3. 1 in the first half, which turned into a field goal, and then the 2 in the second half, and the last one by Ignagby, basically sealing the game. So, yeah, shout out to the defense. They were the real hero of that game, and you know, you got to give Tua the pass. He looked rusty, but he did look rusty,
and that's why I said last week that he needed to play conservatively. You know, the defense is going to keep him in the game. Don't try to do anything crazy. If you need to kick 6 field goals to win the game, then that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You gotta build up. Tony Sperano. You go the ghost of Tony Sperano.
No, but he needs to rebuild that momentum. You can't just come back from a concussion protocol and just pretend like you're gonna go out there like Patty Mahomes. You know what I mean? You gotta rebuild it.
Mike McDaniel was like the anti-Tony Sperano because Sperano would always settle for the field goal. McDaniel didn't want to do that. He wanted to go on
and it almost cost him the game too.
It
almost cost him the game.
Yeah.
I will say though,
I feel like you shouldn't do that in your own territory.
Tua is on my future phony list, however, and the reason he might be, I'm hoping not, but he might because. Did you see the way whenever Tua ran with the ball, he was not a fan of sliding. He was a fan of driving his head and shoulder into the defenseman, and that's good and all. He wants to win. That's great. And he wants to get the most yards he can, but it's Tua. I mean, Jesus, Tua. He was just out for 3-4 weeks, and now he just wants to try to bulldoze everyone.
What a fake concussion. It was a fake concussion. He never had. He had a back problem.
Yeah,
he's out for blood, man.
I
but he respect. Give Tua his respect.
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
he's gonna bull you over.
He gets a lot of respect, man. The man said before the game that he was gonna work on, throwing the ball away a little more, sliding more. Fuck that, bro. He's lowering his shoulder.
No, he needs to think long term.
He does, man. He's crazy.
What's best for his team, because if I get hurt, we already saw what the backup and the backup to the backup can't do it. So,
exactly.
Lucky we didn't see the backup to the backup to the backup in Reed's Senate.
We
never reached that point.
Reed was pretty good. I thought, like, when he was here in the preseason and those type of games, and then they took him and now he's back. He might be in this year, man. We have a lot of soft guys getting injured all the time, and I don't mean like a direct attack on them, but geez, Tua I'm a little bit off with the whole concussion thing, and then what's the second guy? Oh my god, I forgot his name.
Teddy,
quarterback, Teddy, Bridgewater. Teddy, you touch him and he's down, and then this guy hurts his thumb. How unlucky is that? You boom,
incredibly unlucky, man.
Jeez, it's crazy. And then Reed, I wonder who the fourth is, because we might need a fourth.
Yeah,
I mean a fifth.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you see the Dolphins injury report, I don't think I've seen it once where the other team had more players on the injury report than Miami. It's always
key players.
You look at the players like Armstead, Xavier, Hill, Waddle, and you. Oh my!
It's ridiculous.
God.
It's ridiculous.
I know adapting is super important in the NFL, but at some point you're just it feels like you're cursed. Feels like every season there's that one team that's cursed. Last year it was Baltimore, right? Baltimore had 1 billion injuries, and it feels like this year it's Miami. And
We've
let's
been
hope
cursed
this
for the
is
last
the
25. We've been cursed for the last 25 years. I think
every team faces adversity, bro. You know, I said that in my article. Every team faces adversity. The good teams just find a way to move past it. So the Dolphins. Past 3 weeks, that was the adversity for the season. Hopefully, that was the adversity for the season. And with this win this past Sunday on prime time, by the way, Dolphins are like 4-1 in the past 5 primetime games.
Nice.
So, with this win on prime time, hopefully that was them righting the ship and getting past that adversity, and they can only go up from here. I feel.
And I mentioned this in our talk last Wednesday that this win against the Steelers was great, but this needs to be the start of something way bigger for this team.
A streak.
They're playing Detroit this upcoming Sunday, then Chicago, then I believe
Chicago bullied the Patriots.
That's true. But
that was fun
to Jake's point. To Jake's point, we're not playing a team with a winning record until December 11th.
So we got to go on a run. Is what Jake from LemonCityLive is saying.
Yeah, we need to be huge opportunity for the Dolphins. Perfect in the month of November.
Yes,
that would be so nice. Setting us up for what is that? Setting us up for December.
Thanks for reminding me, Xavier, to silence my phone.
And it's my mom. She's in Colombia right now. She's giving me a call.
There you go.
I was going to ask you something, Jake from LemonCityLive. Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
What's up with that guy? Because, Gaskins, to me, is a really good player. I thought he was underrated. He's a good runner. He's great catching the ball. Why is he, forgotten?
I don't know. The thing about Gaskin is we haven't seen him as much as we would have liked to. Because
not this season.
Part of that injury. He's in part of that injury report that just keeps adding up.
Oh, he's in there? He's in there? I wasn't aware of that.
He was in there for the last few weeks, I want to say. And it was basically just up to Mostert to run the ball. And to his credit, he's done relatively well the last couple of weeks. He's been holding down the fort in our running game. Edmonds, I don't know. Edmonds has been sort of a mystery. I don't know what McDaniel and his offensive scheme has placed Edmonds in, if he's just like a wild card kind of player, or if they just want to push all their chips on the table, if the stars like Hill, Waddle, and Mostert.
I think Edmonds had his shot. Man.
He's a Yale grad. You can't put that. He and I
think Edmonds had his shot, and he didn't really show up, bro. I think Edmonds had his shot. He didn't really show up, and
I think he shot mentally.
Got in there,
I think he shot mentally.
Honestly, I think it's just that as soon as Mostert got in there, he showed how much better he is than Edmonds.
Yeah.
He really is. And this
guy,
every time he goes, he just he's got the dropsies, and I wish they could focus on his eyes. So the camera, if they have a special camera, because I know when the ball's coming, his eyes are this huge because you see his he's gonna drop it. He's gonna drop it. So and that's just mental. So he needs a break. He needs to take a break, hit the pine, relax, get a mental health day or something, and then come back stronger, because you can get over it. He's a good player. He's proven he's a good, solid player. But it's from that guy to the next. The next guy's got to step up. He's not doing the job.
Yeah, definitely. So, next week we're at Detroit. Okay, Detroit just got mollywopped.
Yeah.
Those are the games that scare me with Miami.
It's a kind of a trap game.
Those are the games that scare me with Miami.
And I can't remember where I saw the statistic, but it's been almost over a decade since Miami has last won a game in Detroit. I don't know if that's just one of those. Oh, well, big deal. These are two extremely different teams on the opposite ends of the spectrum as far as potential. But
they usually play Thanksgiving over there. I don't remember too many games where they play like regular season games. And when it's Thanksgiving, they step up. Detroit steps up always for Thanksgiving. They beat everybody, even the top teams that go over there.
I still want to be a believer in Jared Goff, right? I still want to think that maybe this guy is still something, because he was that long ago. We were all rooting for him in the Super Bowl.
He's not
right.
Yeah, he's not terrible. He just he's not gonna be that. He's not a quarterback that's gonna win the game for you. He's a quarterback that can win games if he's on a decent or good team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And right now in Detroit, they started off playing really well. They were scoring a lot of points, but he lost DeAndre Swift. He lost what's his name?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's his name.
Exactly. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He lost his best running back and his best wide receiver. Like, and there's only so much that a middle of the pack quarterback can do once you use your top two weapons, man.
Detroit has a lot they want to prove. They're on a 4-game losing streak. Their last win coming in early September against Washington. During that 4-game losing streak, they had 2 close games against Minnesota and Seattle. 2 pretty solid teams for what we've seen so far. Got shut out by New England and then only put up 6 against Dallas. Clearly, and most of that was on the road as well. They played in Minnesota, in New England, and in Dallas. They're coming back home after a long road trip. They want to show the fans that we're not out of this
hungry
yet. Yeah, they're going to put all their chips on the table. They're going to play like they have nothing left to lose, because at this point they really don't have anything left to lose anymore.
What's Miami's calendar? You said Detroit. Who else?
Chicago after that. Which is I believe it's Houston after that, and then we get a bye, and then we play Cleveland.
You forgot Browns. Right? Browns, then Houston.
Okay, yeah. Browns, then Houston.
Then 49ers, and then the Chargers on the 11th.
And then after
so I got to get this 4-game
it really hits the fan as far as teams that Miami is playing. Yeah. So you can worry about December later. You got to focus on November and that the teams you're fortunate enough to be playing right now.
Just to
build off of the win we got now. Make a winning record. Get all the momentum you can when you got to play a San Francisco team that just got a whole lot better themselves. They just got CMC, and they might be Super Bowl contenders.
And Miami trashed them last time they played. Like surprisingly trashed them. So
we blew them out, and we took their coach in the process.
Speaking of coaches, this is going to be the second week in a row that Miami faces a former head coach. Because last week we faced off against Flo. Right, because now he's and now Man Campbell.
Yeah. I liked it when he was here. Like he was, the in between guy. Yeah, and I thought maybe they give him a chance because guy's got a lot of personality and all that. So he seemed really cool.
Like 2 straight winning seasons. I mean, enough said.
With Flo, you talking about Flo?
Yeah, with Flo.
Yeah,
my favorite Flo memory was that game against Cincinnati. Where the Bengals and Dolphins got into
the Brooklyn came out of him.
Yeah, and then he just walked up and was ready to start swinging, man.
He's jacked up too. He's a big guy.
He's a big guy, dude.
He's a big guy. I mean, man,
that's the biggest Honduran I've ever seen.
I don't hate Flores, right?
No, how could you? I don't understand all these fans that now are trashing Flores. 2 straight winning seasons. He was
a stud. He was a stud down here. The only issue I have is him bullying Tua.
Yeah,
and trying to get Watson like that. Getting him and trying to replace. Tua with this guy
and to replace him with he didn't want to do it, but then Stephen Ross tried to get him to say hell yeah, let's go for Brady, right? And that was a whole weird can of worms that we're probably gonna have to wait until the end of the season to really dissect what the hell that was.
We need some investigative reporting from Gus. Anybody that was on that yacht or anything. Trying to get some information, some surveillance.
I'll probably just ask the other reporters in the press box, hey, what
can you
tell me about this?
It never happened. Miami has some weird stuff always going on, huh?
Oh yeah, man.
Crazy.
Feels like this team more than anybody else. Before the season, with all the shenanigans of Stephen Ross, and now in the middle of the season with the whole changing the concussion protocol, and then who knows what the hell's going to happen.
We're in the process where I'm like, will I ever see them win a Super Bowl in my lifetime? Because it just keeps getting scarier and scarier. I mean, even when we have Marino, what was it like in 5th grade? I remember, against the Redskins, and I remember against San Francisco, lost both games, and I was like, damn, that's okay. We got Marino. He's a stud. We'll be back. That's like the Terminator. Yeah, I'll be back in 200 years.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm 22, right? And my
rub it in our faces. Jake from
we're gonna
rub it in our faces.
Yeah, my closest memory of we're gonna smell a Super Bowl was, I believe it was 2015 when we made the playoffs as a wild card and got blown out by Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Without Tua, I believe it was Henne.
Oh man.
Or no, it wasn't Henne. It was Matt Moore, leading the Dolphins into Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
To get blown.
That was Tannehill's only his best season, and then he gets injured at the end of it.
He was playing amazing, dude. He was playing like a Pro Bowl level, and then bam.
Yep.
He never got a break here either. That's one of those situations when it's best to move on and it's best for everybody.
Exactly.
Except for Miami, who got a 7th round pick, was it? Something like that.
Something very minuscule.
Yeah, they were just eager to get rid of him. They took whatever they can get.
But speaking of moving on, they're looking at this current Dolphins roster. I think there's an elephant in the room as far as a player who's probably on his way out, and that's our tight end, number 88.
No, get Sicky with it. No.
But he hasn't done anything wrong. I don't know why they don't utilize him more, man. Just last week. Not this past Sunday, but the week before, he scored 2 touchdowns. Come on,
I want to see him dance.
Oh yeah, I want to see more Gesicki.
Get Sicky with it.
It is very strange how much McDaniel and this Dolphins offense utilizes players like Craycraft and Sherfield.
Yeah,
when you have a guy as well known in the Dolphins roster, he's been here a few years. He's made a name for himself. He's a large man now that
he's very talented.
Yeah, He's very talented. He's received controversy in the past for his blocking ability, for his here and there, but he's got great hands. He's relatively fast for a tight end. He's not mind-blowing, but he ain't bad. And he's had games in the past where it looked like, Tua's going to be thrown to this guy forever. And now many Dolphins fans are sitting here talking about, if we were to hear trade offers by their teams, which is apparently what is going on, what can we get for this guy?
Now, if we get a good offer then by all means, they're not using him. You might as well get something good in return. But if they're gonna get rid of him for, like a 2024 4th round pick. The typical Miami trade.
Yeah. And then he goes in and becomes the best tight end in the league. He's got that type of potential.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of. You know
thankfully,
what I
mean? Thankfully, we haven't seen that yet with Devontae Parker in New England. Thankfully, that hasn't happened just yet.
And it's not going to happen, bro. That guy, he had a nice touchdown catch, but that's
not with those scrub quarterbacks they had.
No.
Yeah, for real. By the way, Gesicki, he only needs 4 yards to surpass Bruce Hardy for second most all time by a Dolphins tight end.
Are you serious?
Really? Yeah.
I remember Bruce Hardy.
Damn.
Well, so let's wait a week then. Let's let Gesicki play against Detroit, get that record, high fives everywhere, and then dish him over.
And then ship him out.
That could absolutely be something I can see Miami doing because
But the coach said that like the coach has actually not said that, right? He's not.
No, that's all speculation by insiders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But where there's fire, so.
Yeah, there's not a single player on this team that receives those rumors as much as Gesicki is right now, and for good reason. Because I think for one reason or not, we're underutilizing him.
Jake from LemonCityLive, you're the GM. If you trade Gesicki, what would be your dream return? What position? What type of what would you want back from him? And it would seem like equal value.
I would go with a bundle of 2nd and 3rd round picks in this upcoming draft, and maybe some late round picks in the following year. Or if it's for another player, I think you'd have to go offensive line. Get some linemen that a team is underutilizing. If there's a team in the NFL that needs a tight end and has a whole bunch of linemen that they're not using, call that team immediately to see if you can make something happen.
Yeah, maybe somebody that's ready to blow up their team.
Oh, and throw in a kicker as well, because I don't know how much I trust Jason Sanders these days.
He's been solid
fine.
in the past. Maybe he's a little bit of that bad streak or something, but he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, he's fine. Kickers, you don't need to move them around too much. They rarely decide games.
But when they do, you better make sure you have a good one. Some teams like Baltimore are blessed with that.
Yeah.
But other teams are not.
But he's been pretty good. I mean, maybe he's in a little rut, but throughout his time here, he's been pretty good.
I guess it's one of the things we'll have to see if it's a little rud now, or if it's going to become a massive rud down the road.
Then you get rid of him.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you're in SoFi Stadium playing the Chargers and the game is on the line for Sanders and he misses that kick, it's going to be all hell breaking loose for the Dolphins fan base, being like, "Oh, we should have signed another kicker way before."
They're pretty easy. They're pretty easy to replace. They're pretty easy to replace.
Yeah.
So that I'm not too worried about that. I would go along your lines with the offensive linemen if we could get. Oh, my seat just dropped here. If I could get someone that can work and be a starter.
Yeah.
That's what I would be looking for. And then the picks. Yeah, if someone gives you a second or third, you're the star GM. You might take Chris Greer's job. I think they're going to try to lowball Miami if they're going to go. For Gesicki. I don't want Gesicki out of here. I want him to get Gesicki here and to dance like he does. Like he doesn't know how to dance, and it entertains us. And I don't see why they want to get rid of talent. You don't find a way. This guy's a genius, right? He's a genius. Find a way. Yeah, you need blocking.
You know what it is? Yeah, that's what it is. He needs Gesicki to block in order for his schemes to work, and Gesicki's not doing a good job blocking. But run a 2 tight end package where you have one tight end that blocks and the other one that is Gesicki that's going to catch passes.
You have Waddle, Hill, and then what? You have Cedric Wilson or Crack. Put Gesicki can play with receiver. You play him as a big receiver. Exactly. Let him go out there, throw it up there. You got to find if they get rid of him, I would be very upset. I've been upset for the last, like we said, 20-something years, the way the Dolphins draft, the way they trade, decisions they make, and it's been regime after regime, time after time. So hopefully these guys are not the same. I hope it doesn't happen.
I feel like we've had some great picks in the last few years. Obviously Tua and Waddle, and then Christian Wilkins has been an absolute
stud
monster.
Yeah, since he came into the league, he's top 5 in tackles. So.
And then he's a stud. Xavier Howard a few years back, of course, and the sort of reputation.
There's a bunch of guys on the defensive side of the ball that have worked out for us, man. Van Ginkel's another one. Jalen Phillips, was a monster this past weekend.
He still has so much potential. He still has so much.
He starts out. He starts to see. It seems to be his thing. He starts out the season. And then when he gets to the 5th, 6th, and then he just blows up, and now he'll get 8 sacks in the next 5 games.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird with that guy. Imagine if he started like that.
Yeah.
He's such a stud, too. We got talent, man.
Yeah. All right, before we move on, let's talk about the Detroit game really fast. I'm going to give you guys my keys to victory. Then you guys can do the same. For me, Tua, he came into this past game. He got his reps. He built up a little momentum. So now is when he can take advantage of that momentum, build up on that, right? Take some downfield shots, but don't go crazy. They need the game plan so that we can see that growth from one week to the other. So that, for me, the defense is gonna do the same as they did to the Steelers. They're gonna put the Dolphins in a position to win. All Tua has to do is not give the ball away. Win the turnover battle and build up a little bit more on top of the momentum that you already built in the last week. So for me, that's all the Dolphins have to do to keep it moving.
My biggest key of the game, again, also comes down to the defense because I think Tua and Tyreek Hill and Waddle they're going to get their numbers. They're going to get the 10, 20, even 30-yard passes pretty much however they want to.
Dude, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are ranked number 1 and number 2, respectively, in 20 or more yard catches in the league. They're ranked number 1 and number 2. Yeah. Actually, Waddle's tied with Jefferson for number 2, but still.
So I don't know how much I can say offensively for Miami, but defensively, I think the game plan is simple. Bully Jared Goff as much as you absolutely can.
Yes.
Get into his face. Make him throw the stupid pass that's going to get deflected or intercepted, or just have him fall to the ground. He's not a fast guy, right?
Yeah.
Just bully him as much as you can, because Detroit's offensive line, surprise, surprise, is not great, right?
Exactly. And, so that's true. We might see Christian Wilkins grab his nuts again.
I think that the offensive line, I would love for Miami to get 100 yards rushing, have a 100-yard rusher. I want them to give Tua a little time so he doesn't, get antsy back there. And the secret is Tua, the decision making. He needs to make good decisions. He needs to make where if the ball, throw it away. Sometimes he tries to force it. Sometimes he doesn't slide. It's just bad decision from a kid that's supposed to be a smart. So I think he might be trying too hard.
Yes.
I need him not to manage. I want him to be a star. I want him to be a star.
Of course.
He was a 5th pick in the draft, dude. He's been a star everywhere. I want you to be a star here too. But it has to start somewhere. And that somewhere
little by little.
Make better decisions. But if we give him a better running game, you make it easier for him. So I want that line to give him a 100-yard rusher and give him a little more time to be clean. The defense, they've been our bread and butter the last few seasons. Ever since Flo, started, even when they were a crappy team, he got that defense, turned it around, and after he turned it around mid-season, it's never been the same. It's always been, a top defense. And we got studs, like I said, in every position. Now we got people hurt all over the backside, the backfield, but they're still playing well. Like some of the guys came in and played really well, better than I guess were projected. So
look, Brandon Jones went out. Brandon Jones is out for the rest of the year, but
he's joining Needham. Nick Needham, Brandon Jones. They're
but Javon Holland and Noah Benogany, they stepped up, bro. They both got interceptions in that last game. And Xavier, to your point, Xavier, to your point, Xavi, to your
only
point.
Gonzalo can call me that. Go ahead.
And Edwin, apparently. But to your point with the running game, yeah, man, you've seen it with Mustard. Every week, he gets a little better. This past Sunday, he had 79 rushing yards.
I need 100. Okay? I need 100.
But if you add up Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds, they were damn near close to 100.
Yeah.
So Mostert also had 30 receiving yards. So all-purpose yards, our running back had over 100 yards.
Bring in Myles Gaskin.
I don't want to see a bunch of rushing yards for Tua, right? I don't want to see that in the stat line saying that, exactly. He had to run 5 times. He got like 20 yards. That's great.
Slide.
Slide. I don't know. No.
Slide, baby. Slide.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to see that. All right. So, Jake, you covered the NASCAR race in Homestead this past weekend, man.
Yes, nice. I did.
Nice. A bunch of pictures too.
Cars go burr. Yes, indeed. That was a super fun time, especially from my case where I live in Homestead. I'm very close to the racetrack. It's so crazy, the long drive to Miami Gardens and back to watch a Dolphins game. The ability to drive like 5 minutes to a major event and then drive right back, experience pretty much no traffic, is a blessing in disguise that you don't really realize until you're there and you're like, wow, that was very fast. I got here that quickly. And Homestead Miami Speedway is awesome. It's an awesome track. A lot of fun things to do there before the race, and then obviously, you're in Miami, so do whatever the hell you want right after. And I know the drivers got to love that too. They can maybe take a couple days, head down to the Keys, or maybe just go up and then just experience a little bit of South Beach before you got to go out, move on to your next race. But it was Homestead Miami Speedway, and I think we talked a bit about this last week. What really gave the track its identity since I believe 2002 was the fact that it was always the final race in the NASCAR schedule. The championship race, the race that decided it all, was the Homestead Miami Speedway. That's just how it was. And the drivers, from what they've said for the past almost 2 decades, said, all right, that's great. That's cool. We love this track. The fact that, it's a 1.5 mile oval with banked cornering in a very hot and, sticky surface because of that with the tires. It creates interesting strategies, especially when the sun sets and it goes in tonight, and how that sort of affects the track layout as well. It's an awesome track. And then since a few years ago, NASCAR has started to move around the final race of the NASCAR series, kind of like how the Super Bowl, where it's at a different stadium every year.
Yeah.
And for the past couple of years, it's been at Phoenix, and then eventually it'll find a new place, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't take away from the racing. From what we all were able to see this past weekend, there was some high quality racing to be done at Homestead Miami Speedway, because these races are still very important. They're playoff races that determined who the final drivers that can compete for the NASCAR championship in the 3 divisions: the Cup Series, which is the main one, the Xfinity Series, which is like right under the Cup Series, and then the Truck Series, which is its own thing.
So they're essentially narrowing down the field.
Yeah, you start off with around the 3/4 of the season to go. You move to the round of 16, where there are 16 drivers that can compete for the championship, and then after a few races pass, depending on results, it goes down to the round of 8, and then down to the round of 4, which is where we're at right now.
So Kyle Larson won the race, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Larson got the win.
Yeah, in the Cup Series race on Sunday, which is the big one. It's like the main event, the one that brings out Michael Biamonte from the Heat doing driver introductions, and then brings out the giant national anthem, the flyover from the Homestead Air Force Base, and all the festivities. It's the one on Sunday. It always is.
Did Biamonte announce when there was 2 laps to go?
That would have been fun, but
2 laps to go.
You couldn't even hear him, right? You couldn't even hear him, because of how loud those cars are.
It's amazing, man.
650 horsepower V8 turbocharged engines.
I gotta go out to one of these events.
Doing work.
Yeah.
This has been an exciting year for NASCAR, by the way. They released their next generation car. It's a brand new car design that's supposed to be a bit more aerodynamic. The classic 5 lug nut system on the tires has been replaced with a single lug nut, so faster pit stops. And it's
interesting.
It's been a wave of new, because NASCAR is changing for the better, right? You're seeing more and more drivers that are not just white dudes driving, the Fords and the Chevys and the Toyotas. You're seeing drivers like Daniel Suarez and Bubba Wallace, and
you had Danica Patrick.
You had Danica Patrick. There's another female driver in the Xfinity Series. I can't remember her name right at this very moment. NASCAR and its fans are changing, and for the better, I want to say. And
nice.
Overall, it was just an awesome weekend at Homestead, especially when you go in as media. When you get the you get the essential pass like me. You got M for Media Center and VL for Victory Lane, and for Media Center. Right. The coolest thing was parking inside the track. In case you didn't know, Homestead Miami Speedway actually has an infield road course that NASCAR doesn't use, and when it's not being used, it's used as parking for special people, like for people with VIP passes or media, right? And the coolest thing was parking on Saturday. Got there super early, of course. And when I got there was practice and qualifying going on for the race on Sunday to determine, the pole position and, who would be starting where for that race. And as soon as you exit out your car and you're heading towards Speedway Boulevard, all you hear in the background is, it's the cars accelerating. And it's when you hear it so often, especially in person, it's like music to your ears, it's and then you smell the burnt rubber on the track. You smell the oil, you smell all that, and it's like, damn, I'm in the right place right now. And overall, it was an absolute blast with like I said, some great racing. The first race on Saturday was the Truck Series race. The Truck Series are some of the most interesting races. They're short. They're the shortest races. The trucks are.
How many laps are they?
It was like only over 100, right?
Okay.
Not much. And the trucks are the most regarded as the most able to take bumps, right? So if you're bumped with a truck, you're not maybe immediately going to go flying like, in the other NASCAR leagues, or God forbid F1, where even a little bit of a tap will send someone doing kickflips in the air, It was a clean race. Ty Majeski won in the end. He was a contender in the championship 4, so he will be competing for the championship with 3 others in 2 weeks in Phoenix. And the ladder race on Saturday was the Contender Boats 300 in the Xfinity Series. Noah Gragson was the winner in that one. Again, another championship 4 hopeful gets in, and now will compete in Phoenix in a couple of weeks. And then the Sunday race, again being the big one, was won by Kyle Larson, who had a dominating performance, as he has had a couple of times this season. It was his 3rd win. He led almost 200 of the 300 lap race.
Damn, is he in the Final 4?
He was not. Funny enough, he was actually not in the playoffs. He was eliminated over almost a month ago. So in a race that could have determined who's locked into the championship 4, no one was locked in, which makes next week's race in Martinsville extremely crucial, because basically whatever placement is for the playoff hopefuls, that's what it's going to be. And then
so how they finish the race is how the playoff hopefuls are gonna go into the final.
Yeah, so Joey Logano, experienced driver, has already won a championship in Homestead, by the way.
Okay,
he's locked in to the championship 4 because he won last week.
I think Joey Logano won the year that I went to to watch the race, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. He locked up his spot into the championship 4 a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas, so he's in.
Nice.
Out of the 8 drivers that are still in it, it's basically going to come down to if like I said, you won't necessarily have to win the race in Martinsville, but if you finish 2nd, 3rd, get those high spots while some of the other playoff hopefuls might DNF or not do well, then you've basically just punched your ticket in the championship. So
who's your favorite to win it all?
Experience goes a long way in NASCAR. The more experienced your driver is, the more it feels like they're going to be the favorites. And we saw that with Jimmy Johnson when he was racing, when he won 7 goddamn championships.
Yeah,
they actually named the tunnel that takes that takes you outside and then into the stadium parking after Jimmy Johnson.
Nice.
So that was cool. And it's hard to pick against a driver like Joey Logano, right? He's young, but he's very experienced. He's won a championship. Also among the championship hopefuls is Chase Elliott, who also won a championship a couple of years ago. And I think it's going to come down to between Logano and Elliott. One of the two is going to win it all.
That's what's up
in the Cup Series. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So we'll come back to you in a couple of weeks to check up on that, so you can fill us in on who's getting that done. All right, but you know what's starting also in a couple of weeks, Xavier, the World Cup, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we have so much to talk about with USA team. I mean, I'm gonna write about the World Cup, but the USA team is I think at the point where we have the most talent ever.
Yeah,
in the history of U.S. soccer, with so many players playing in really good clubs in Europe, playing in good teams here. The league is doing great. There is some talent in the league. It's developed. Yeah. There's good players in this league. because you have all of Europe looking now to get good talent from here for cheap, and they're already kind of developed because they get out of playing time. But I'm not a big fan of the coach, and a lot of people are not.
Yeah.
And they say that he's got a brother in the association who kind of maybe worked the way for him to get the coaching job, and not just that, but that's one of the backstories. The fact that he has this love affair with his system, with a system where he pushes out the top forwards, the ones that are playing the best right now, like Brandon Vasquez from FC Cincinnati is one of the top forwards in the U.S. in this league, and the MLS in the league, and in general, the forwards, the strikers that are playing, and he's just basically has ignored him and told him he's not going to be a part of this process, and that's crazy because
he didn't get called up.
He's not going to go. He's not going to go. He he has all these guys, and they're there unless there's certain injuries or things happen from here to then. He's not going to go. I don't think he's going to go based on everything this guy has said and what he's shown. He didn't even. They're doing the teams that got lost in the playoff. Some of those players are not going to play for like almost a month. So they're doing a camp for those players here.
Okay.
And he's called some of the players, but he didn't call Mihailovic. I hope I pronounced it correctly. From Montreal, Jordy, talented midfielder. I think one of the top midfielders in the U.S. And there's certain other guys like that you don't understand why he's not calling them, why he's not giving them an opportunity. And basically it's his system. But it's like every other coach. They go with what they know, and they're a lot of them, not all of them, not going to change. And it's kind of too late to change. I just wish they would have changed him before, because at this point, like I was telling you, they're very, very talented. So what Jake was saying as far as experience for a driver, or experience matters for a head coach of a national team, Yeah. So I wish there's money and there's resources here. You could have gone out there and gotten a much more experienced coach to get you through this. When Klinsmann was here, he went through hell. People when he left, people weren't so happy, and then he laid a foundation. That's starting to give fruits now. And like,
it's funny. He did the same thing for Germany, and then Germany went on to win the World Cup.
He's like
I don't know why they didn't stick with him.
Well, because Lowe came in and he's done pretty decent too. But he's like King David. He didn't build the temple. Solomon did. He got everything everything ready, but he wasn't the one that was going to build it. Well, Klinsmann is that guy. I'm not a big fan of Berhalter. I think that if US underperforms, because I was expecting at least to get out of the group and possibly win a first round game, because they're talented. If you look at them, there's players in every position. If you look and see, if you plug in and think as a fan, but then you're going to see what he's going to do as a coach. Sometimes they're a little bit conservative. There's a lot of criticism with the center backs, and they're a little bit slow. They're a little weak. They're not as technical as you're going to see center backs and win the World Cup. You're going to see guys playing center back that you could play 10 maybe for the U.S.
Yeah.
and our guys are a little bit slow. That's going to cost us, because you're going to have these amazing forwards. Everybody's going to have, even the teams that are not the top teams are going to have very, very capable players. So that's what worries me. The defense, it's a big concern for me. I like the players that they have. Weston McKennie is a stud.
Man.
Pulisic has not consolidated his career the way we would like, but even though he still has very good numbers compared to some of the guys in Chelsea for minutes played, and per goals and production, he does pretty well. He's just a little inconsistent. I hope that this World Cup,
and he has injury troubles
all the time, but he's got a lot better. I hope that this World Cup is his breakout.
Oh, for sure.
The man's talented.
He's great, man.
The man's talented, and he barely missed the last World Cup, and now is his moment. So I'm looking at him. Gio Reyna is another guy that's extremely talented.
Yeah, Gio Reyna. Oh man, every time he's healthy, exactly. But when he's healthy, he shines, bro.
Dude, do you remember
when him and Haaland were together, bro? I think he's a big reason why Haaland got boosted up. So Haaland is great regardless.
He's amazing.
He's amazing regardless. But when they were both playing together, man,
the cyborg.
Oh, it was incredible.
Well, Gio Reyna, I don't. If you recall the time when the U.S. played Mexico, he had one of those fantastic runs where he got the ball and dribbled like by 6 guys and and made them look crazy. And you're like, amazing. Oh my goodness, this is an American player. Am I watching Brazil?
I know.
Who am I watching here? Is this Messi? No, it's Gio Reyna. And there's several players that I believe are very talented on this team. And I think they can break out, and there might be a market for American players after this World Cup, a bigger market for for these guys on this team, for bigger teams, and they have an opportunity to do something special. I just don't know how much they can do with that coach.
But to your point, they do have a lot of talent, and we've been saying on this show for a long time. Whenever we talk about U.S. men's national team, they win, and they've won a lot with Berhalter, but they win. Because of the talent, they win despite having Berhalter.
We have to give him his credit. You know what? But you do have to give someone credit, even if, begrudgingly, because he's won a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's won a lot of stuff important. In CONCACAF and tournaments and things like that. It's over here, and it's not the toughest.
Exactly. But I really think they win despite him, not because of him. You know what I mean? They win because of the talent.
I hope that happens in the World Cup, and
me too. But at the same time, let's say the U.S. Gets to like the quarterfinals, right? That's like last 8 teams, I think. That would be. I think that would be the furthest the U.S. has ever gone in the modern era.
In the modern, because back.
But there's no way that they're gonna get rid of Berhalter if that happens.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I know, man. Tell you. And then it's gonna be 4 more years of that guy, leading a great group of teams to maybe underperform. Maybe if they had a great coach, that same team that made the quarterfinals would have made the semifinals. You know what I mean?
World Cup is so important for the future of American soccer at the world level. Because you have a very solid team, and the guys coming in from the U20, they got some really good, and they got a lot of young guys coming in that they can all consolidate a super team for the World Cup here at home.
I really don't want Berhalter to be the coach when it's here, bro. They need to show out.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah,
we'll see if we have to burn it or knock it down. I don't know, but.
Have they decided where the championship match is going to be for that U.S. Olympics?
I don't think so. I think the leading
Olympics or the World Cup.
For the World Cup? I think for the U.S. World Cup. I think the leading city rumored is Dallas because Jerry World.
I mean, an amazing stadium.
Yeah, that's the
amazing facility.
I'm sure Jerry Jones is
You have SoFi Stadium just sitting there in Los Angeles.
That makes the most sense.
Real pretty,
SoFi.
That's where I would put my money. That's where I would put my money.
Yeah,
me too. But man, I wouldn't put anything past Jerry Jones to use his influence to get the World Cup final in his stadium.
We shall see. We shall see.
Mm-hmm. But SoFi definitely makes the most sense out of any stadium in the country.
If you're looking to match the blend of soccer with the Hispanic community, look no further than right outside your doorstep with Hard Rock Stadium. I am hoping Hard Rock Stadium gets a really good match.
I'm sure we're going to get some nice matches.
I think the rumor is that Hard Rock is getting a semifinal game.
I'd be more than happy with that.
Oh, for sure, dude. That'd be incredible.
It always gets rocking down here when there's good games.
Oh yeah,
the atmosphere is great.
Even friendlies of European teams, they sell out the stadium. It's sold out. You can't find it. You can't find an empty seat.
And the atmosphere is great now with the people coming in, the tourists, and it's good. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
100%. Xavier, you broke some news this week.
What are you talking about?
Some Inter Miami news.
Yeah, I got some information and I put it out there. We'll go. Yeah, George Acosta, a player that was in my eyes underutilized this season.
Yeah.
Got released. They haven't posted it yet, but he's released.
Did they get him through the draft or through?
He came in 2020. He was like considered.
Was he a transfer?
He was playing in Boca Juniors.
Oh, he was a guy from Boca Juniors.
Yeah, he was at that point. He was in Boca Juniors. And the moment he came in, he got hurt, and that's been his downfall with the team, I think, because I'm pretty sure they know the talent is there.
Yeah.
But he's been hurt. The moment he came in, he got a very serious, injury, kept him out practically the whole season. He comes back, and even this season, he's had several minor injuries. And, well, even knee, and then he hurt I think it was his ankle. I don't recall, but he's had several injuries that has not let him be on the field. And what's the best ability? Availability.
Yeah.
And if you're not available, it's a numbers game right now for him. I wish him the best. I think he's very talented, and I think that he can be kind of like a Bryce Duke story. Bryce Duke didn't get much playing time at LAFC. He's shipped somewhere else where he was needed, and he shined. Maybe it's Acosta's, it's his time to go somewhere else and shine.
Do you think are there any rumors of where he's going to end up yet?
I don't have any information on that yet, but as soon as I don't want to launch anything out there like that. As soon as I get that, I will. The other thing that it was it's confirmed, but it was something that I think everybody knew. So I don't think I'm breaking great news. Is Gonzalo is going to be the comeback player of the year for MLS. And if you see the other two guys, they got good stories, everything. But Gonzalo is a feel good story. It's the perfect fit. So I thought he was gonna win it anyway before I actually got confirmation that that's gonna happen. So that should be getting announced anytime. It should be getting announced soon. And then the last one, which is more of a work in progress. There was information relayed to me that Robbie Robinson, which is another controversial player for Inter Miami for the fans, because some people love him and some people hate him, and they hate him because he was a number one pick. He's been injured a lot, injury prone too, but he's got a lot of tools that you look for in an attacking player, a forward. They used him a lot on the wing this year, and he didn't do too bad. But to me, he's more of a forward in the middle of that 4-3-3. And Ascona is another young, talented midfielder, and it seems like Inter Miami has a lot of those right now. So there's not a lot of room. He plays on the wing, so they got a lot of wingers. The information that was relayed to me is that these two players are going to be sent to Zaragoza. I don't have the exact details of the transaction, but that's what was relayed to me, and it's something in progress. This is definitely something that has been talked about. Okay. And so hopefully it goes to fruition, but maybe they change their minds and do something else with them. But they definitely talked about that, and it's a great option. That the Mas own that team. Jorge Mas has a majority interest in that team. It's an amazing opportunity. Real Zaragoza, yeah, it's an amazing opportunity. Yeah, that's a traditional team over there.
They're playing the second division, right?
It went down, but they put a lot of money into it, and they're building a project. They've brought a few good young players over there. I'm a fan of Junior Barranquilla in Colombia because that's where I was born. I was born in Barranquilla, Colombia. And I know one of the guys, Gabriel Fuentes. He was the left back. He was bought by Zaragoza, and he's having an amazing season right now. He just came in and is playing great. He wasn't doing so great in junior. So a lot of these young guys, sometimes they need to change the scenery. Yeah. And so that could be, I think Robbie is a talented player. He hasn't shown his full potential, but there was a reason he was the first pick, right? There was a reason. The guy's got the height. It's the prototypical.
He's out of Clemson, right?
He was, yes, Clemson. He's got the prototypical, he's got the height, the speed, strong when you look at him, but he actually has skill too. He just needs to, finish a little bit better.
Is he was supposed to be what Campana ended up becoming, I imagine.
That's what I would imagine. That's what they got him for. But use him mostly on the wing. I don't think you could ever use Campana on the wing.
No,
I don't think you could ever use Campana on the wing. And this guy is on the wing.
Do you think the emergence of Campana is and maybe realizing that they have better wing players is a reason why they're just willing to ship him out to Zaragoza?
I think there's a lot of stuff behind. One is the history of injuries. Also, there's a certain point where you retire it, and I don't know how much they meshed like his personality. Remember, Phil is very big into the locker room and the unity. So I don't. This is just seeing from the interviews and seeing. I don't know how his personality meshed, with the team or with the coach. I that's just my optics. I don't know if it meshed, if he was, but he's very talented. I think it's a great opportunity for him. I think it's an amazing. If this does work out, if it does happen, I think it's a great opportunity, and he should take it, with arms wide open, because it's a good style. And if they use him where he should be used properly, it's only going to be benefit for him. And then Ascona is very, very talented midfielder. The Spanish style of soccer is very technical, which he is. And he's a very elegant player. It's a numbers game. He didn't get a chance now in the wings. He's not the fastest, so Phil used a lot of speed on the wings. He's got a lot of speed. Robert Taylor, which is the guy that plays everything. Played a few times on the wing. He played sometimes 10. He played forward. He played everything. Well, he's a very, very good player. He's very fast. Then you have Lassiter, who has speed for days. He just burns. He needs to be more technical, in my opinion. But he's going up against
Rayito.
Rayito is a project. Rayito better watch out. Rayito is a project too that Phil has some patience for him. But next season better be not Rayito, better be Rayo.
Yeah.
He better produce, because I don't think they'll have too much patience. He's got all the talent, and like you said, hey, he takes 1, 2, he dances, and then doesn't finish the play. So he needs to finish it. He's got all the talent in the world. I think they missed him against NY, New York City FC. It was a game where you would want Rayito to cause havoc. You needed that type of guy there, and Phil didn't line him up. Didn't put him on the roster. But there's some good guys staying. They're gonna have their DPs available, and Pozuelo is a big question mark.
Yeah, you don't think he'll to return?
To me, it depends. It's all like it's a business, right? How much is he willing to sacrifice?
Was this the last year of his contract?
Yeah, he was playing, for a contract here, and they said that in the interview, like when they were talking about the trade and stuff, he said, hey, I'll bet on myself. Give me the chance, and you'll see. And I think he did pretty good. I just don't know if he's a DP player anymore in regards to age and production. And I like him, but I don't like him as my money player. I think that the league has shown, the MLS has shown that you can get some young creative players, and put them in there right away. I think he's not as mobile as he needs to be for this team. He's a great player, but I think the team needs a little bit more mobility. Look at the perfect example to me was the Orlando City game. You had Duke and you had Indy Basilev, but Basilev, that was like he played out of his mind. Like that was the best game he ever played. I think. Those two guys were just owning the midfield, playing amazing. Basilev was up and down and he's not Pozuelo's not going to give you that. He's not going to give you that up and down all over that. He gives you the maturity, control. I got the ball. I can block. I'm going to give you a good pass. That. But
so I guess it all really depends on what Phil Neville wants to see out of that position.
At the end of the day is what Phil decides. He favored Pozuelo. When he came in, Duke lost a lot of playing time, lost that starting spot, and I don't know if a player like Bryce, you can have another year of just having him there. He needs to play.
He needs
to play, and he's shown that he has ability, and he needs to grow. He said it when I interviewed Bryce. I asked him, the things where you need to grow. He said, I need to score more. He's aware. I need to score more. I need to be a bigger influence in the game, because he was team leader in assists, and he wasn't he had 7 assists, and he wasn't the full-time starter the whole season. He missed at the beginning of the season. He was injured.
Yeah,
you remember that he was injured
right when he started to pick up steam, and people were like putting eyes on him, like, oh, yo, this kid is really good. That's when Pozuelo came in. And that's when he like kind of
progress stoppers, stoppers, man. And then everybody says, Pozuelo was the difference to have the season turn around.
He was one of the reasons why the
absolutely
season turned around.
You can't take that away from him, because he brought that.
They should have found a way to keep Duke in with Pozuelo.
Yeah, your two best. When they played together, they're magic, man. They played together. They couldn't focus just on Pozuelo. They had to worry about the kid over here too.
Exactly.
So, I think they can play together. I just don't know if Pozuelo is going to be a DP. I don't. So I'm not breaking any of that news or any information on that. So we'll see. We'll see about Robbie and
but when you do break it, shoot us a text right before so we can retweet you right away.
it was one of those in the moment things. It's funny that you mentioned that, because that's the one that's taking all the traction. That's the tweet that's gotten a lot of mentions, and people are talking about it. I even had a guy reach out to me from Spain via send me an email. No, he sent me an email, but I'm not even sure if it's legit or not. So I haven't really paid attention to it. But that's the information I have, and we're gonna go with that, and I hope it does come to fruition. But definitely that has been talked about and has been in the works. Now we need to see. It's like any business; it needs to be finalized.
Exactly. All right, guys. Long show today, but good show. We had look at this weird ass hot girls here.
What?
Nobody clicked that link.
Whoa! Time out.
That's through YouTube.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, hot girls here is watching the 5 Reasons YouTube network. So okay,
YouTube is wild out. Oh,
we got hot guys right here, man. We got Jake from LemonCityLive.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
We got
the news
we got La Voz. We got La Voz over here. So I don't blame them. They're looking at hot guys. I'm just not gonna click on that link.
Don't click that link.
I don't advise anybody to click on that link.
Rookie mistake, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't click links you don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, you'll be at Panthers this weekend, so everybody look out for that. Yeah. Xavier, you're gonna start working on World Cup stuff.
Yeah, and November 10th. We didn't talk about that. The real national team, the team that's won World Cups, the women's national team.
Yes.
The real studs of
that's what we're all
soccer
here for.
In the U.S.
Yes.
The women's national team is going to play Germany.
Yeah,
November
Germany.
10th. That's a
nice
matchup. That's a great matchup. And then November, is it 19th off the top of my head?
I think it's 19th.
Colombia will play Paraguay in a friendly down here. So get my credentials. That's awesome. gonna be awesome. We're getting set, man. The soccer is coming. The World Cup now. The funny thing about World Cup, anybody that doesn't like soccer, blah blah blah, you have them glued to TVs watching the storylines. Looking at it, and then everybody watches, and then they realize, wow, that many people actually watch the World Cup. So you mean it's like 20 times bigger than the Super Bowl? Wow, I didn't know that. Well,
no. Twitter recently, they released a stat saying that soccer was the most tweeted about sport this year, and any year, I actually, but
it's not that surprising.
Man. It's not surprising
because it's the world's game. It's the world's game.
Yeah, you can find it everywhere. I'm sure the Penguins in Antarctica even play that when nobody's looking.
Yeah, man. I've seen Pinguino.
I have a friend that plays with us in the mornings, and we call him the Penguin. So for sure, I know Penguins play soccer.
He'd get along well with Waddle.
No, why they got no. He's really short.
I used to have a friend in high school who was Colombian, and his name was Edwin, but everybody called him Penguin.
No.
I was like, yo, do you know
Oh,
him?
yeah.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if I do, if I actually see the person.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, seeing those stupid spam comments there has reminded me of the real big phony of the week in the world of sports. And I'm not going to get too into it, but you all have seen what has gone on with the Wisconsin volleyball team. We all have seen it, right?
No.
Oh.
Wisconsin
I don't want to leave you on a cliffhanger, but
you're watching
Wisconsin
ESPN.
volleyball team has been the phony of the entire fall semester of collegiate sports.
Men's, women's, which one?
Penguins.
Wisconsin women's volleyball team.
Okay.
What did they do?
Let's just say they got a little wild after every win so far this season.
Girls gone wild.
And
what are they twerking on court or something?
If it was that simple, I don't think anyone would have minded. But
okay,
I don't even want to know.
That's
is it on YouTube? Is it on YouTube?
Is it these girls? Is it the?
I think that's them right there. I think that's them. That's Wisconsin.
Don't
click the link. Right. About it is
don't click the link, guys.
You'll not going to say much, but
you'll land on Wisconsin.
Can you erase that? Can you erase that? Block those people, man. Block them. They're trying to ruin our show.
Seriously. All right, everybody. I think that's good for tonight. Thank
you, Jake from Lemon City Live. Now you got me thinking about Wisconsin. I don't even know if I want to go check or not.
Right? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you missed the show, you want to listen back, just make sure to check out wherever you get your podcasts. Tomorrow morning, we'll be up there. And we'll see you next week. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Next time I see you all, here, remind me to get you some souvenirs from the races.
Oh, yes. Let me get some of that.
These things, you can find them like